For over 2 decades, the Asian Heritage Society of Manitoba has contributed stories, culture, and community to Winnipeg's cultural tapestry. These contributions are put into an even greater spotlight during Asian Heritage Month, where the organization puts on a variety of events, which kicked off with their opening ceremonies last week. Tomorrow night, Friday night, Asian Heritage Manitoba will host a comedy show at the 111 Bar and Lounge on Princess Street. The host of this event is comedian Jie Yang, who is also a member of the board with Asian Heritage Manitoba. He joins us live in the Classic 107 studios here this morning to tell us some more. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
Of course. So let's get down to brass tacks to talk about some comedy here, shall we? What can people expect from an Asian Heritage Night comedy night tomorrow night in the Exchange District on Princess Street?
Well, it's our 4th annual Asian Heritage Month comedy show, and we have comedians from all Asian backgrounds, and we're there to have fun, and like people say, humor is part of healing, because a lot of our communities have been through many things over the years, and also we're there to have a chance to express ourselves in our own unique new ways. Every comedian on a lineup is unique in their own way, and they have their own sense of humor and style and quirks too, so it's going to be really fun for everyone. And we're also featuring a musical comedy duo called the Lady Lumps. They sing comedy music. It's one of those things that's hard to explain, but once you see them, you're going to have lots of fun. I remember the first time I saw them, I couldn't stop laughing, and it's something that everyone will definitely appreciate. And also, our headliner is Vong Shou. He was originally raised in Winnipeg, and he went to pursue, school, and then his comedy career in Calgary, and then he moved to Toronto, and now he's back home for the Winnipeg Comedy Fest. So he's here, and he's going to be headlining our show, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun. You touched on something really interesting as you were talking about this night, about how humor helps you process trauma and these different experiences within the sort of Asian diaspora that calls Winnipeg home. Maybe you can speak a little bit more to how you address that trauma through humor and through events like this comedy night.
Well, I can't speak for every Asian person,
of
but
course,
in terms of my upbringing, it was never perfect, and there are things that happen, and in ways, again, some other comedians do say this, that in ways we channel those stories onto stage. May not be word for word, but we find a way to do it, and so that's something that happens. And then there's some people who have nothing to heal from, and they just want to express themselves and make people laugh, and
Sure. Why not? So this is the 4th year, as you mentioned, of this comedy night. I would imagine also that means that it gets pretty well received by the community each year. What do you think the role of humor is within communities like this when you come together on a cultural level, and maybe what makes this kind of a comedy night, where it's so rooted in these communities here in the city of Winnipeg, different than other events that you might perform at?
Yes. Well, at the end of the day, everyone wants laughter and humor to be universal.
Yeah.
But when you are, what's the word called again? Reading a room, and if we're reading an all Asian Manitoban room, a lot of the material will be very, very relatable.
Sure.
That other audiences may not appreciate as much, even though we're supposed to be universally funny, but there are some bits that are very funny if for the right audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's put you into the lobby here for a second. The show is done on Friday night. You're basking in the glory of telling all these funny jokes, and every one of them killed. What do you hope you hear from members of Winnipeg's AAPI community as they're walking out? And is it different than what you maybe might be hearing from people who aren't of that community? In other words, what do you think members of the Asian community here in Winnipeg take away from a comedy night like this that maybe other communities might not? Is there a deeper level of bonding that happens then?
Oh, definitely, because there's some material may not be said in other rooms, because some people are afraid that, hey, if I speak about something that's not relatable, no one's gonna laugh. And so, and especially if that particular audience member really resonates with it, it's just more more meaningful. And yeah, when people walk out there and say, oh, wow, this was amazing, we want to do this again. And so yeah, it's a really, and for the people not from the Asian background, they may learn something new from humor. And also, it's not always all the time, but there are people not from the Asian community that are afraid to laugh at a bit because it might be perceived as offensive. So it helps when, let's say, 75% room full of Asian people are laughing. Then they can get on board and realize that hey, it's not a big deal. And I understand with our current climate of media and sensitivity, sometimes things are, but
it's trickier.
Yeah, it's tricky. But at the same time, at the end of the day, our communities are coming from a good place, and we're here to have fun and laugh. And we're not, we don't want to take everything too seriously, but we're there to have fun, and intention is the right place. And I want everyone to really have fun in that comedy room.
Absolutely. Plenty of opportunities to have fun, not just in the comedy room, but also throughout the rest of the events that are taking place during Asian Heritage Month. Something for all ages as well, as I'm looking at this high school symposium that you're hosting next Tuesday, I understand. What are you? Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, so for our actual Asian Heritage Month comedy show, it's actually an 18+ event. Because it is in a bar and...
Yeah, sure.
And also, we do kind of,
it gets a
little edgy,
I understand.
So it's
100%.
So I don't recommend, we can't have children there.
Totally. But there is something for the high schoolers coming up next Tuesday at the symposium.
Yes. We're going to have a high school symposium at the Canadian Human Rights Museum. Yeah. And we've been doing this for several years. I think, I can't remember when we had our original one, but we have it every year where we invite a few high schools to join us for a full day of programming. We talk about Asian and Canadian history, and we talk about Asian identity, and we also give the students a tour of the museum as well. And then also we have our Asian Canadian career panelists where they discuss their careers, and we like to mix things up where we don't always have, model minority Asian careers like a doctor, lawyer. We like to mix it up where we have like artists from the music industry, the film industry, and this year we have someone from the comedy industry as well. Vong Shou, our headliner, is going to be talking to students about his comedy career as well. And we have like barbers, hairstylists, we have DJs, just everything. We want to say that, hey, you can do whatever you want as long as you're passionate about it, and it's possible to make it in that industry as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would imagine also that there's just so much that there's overlap that's happened over the last few years where you see probably the same kids coming back. What do you hear from the students, but also from the educators about what this event means to these students about as you're showing them these different opportunities?
Well, for students, they just really enjoy being there, just to hear about the history, and even though there is Asian studies in some schools, they may not have enough time to cover as many topics, or it's usually just 1 week of it or whatever. But listen, we really try to put it out there, and even some high schools have their own Asian Heritage Club as well. So to me, it's great to see that those things are happening in those schools, and when students look at the career panelists. Yeah, it's nice to see, hey, this person is doing this, because a lot of times in these Asian diaspora communities, a lot of students say, I want to do this, and then sometimes the parents say, it's not realistic. But when they see someone in person and on stage saying that, hey, they're established, they actually are doing this for a living, it gives them some reassurance that, hey, it is possible. And also at the same time, we do, again, I don't want to say that we don't want anyone to be doctors or lawyers, but occasionally we do have them on board, and there's students who are genuinely interested in becoming a doctor and lawyer, so they can hear them out and their experience and their career journey.
Yeah.
And for teachers and educators, a lot of us say, why didn't we have this when we were students? Why didn't we have this? Because we started doing this in the mid 2000s, so you can figure out people's ages by then. It's like, why didn't we have this? So it means a lot to a lot of educators that, hey, I'm able to facilitate this programming for students, and some of us vicariously, see ourselves as those students too, even though we're well aware of the programming we do. It's nice to just be able to, be there and experience all that.
And show the multitude of career paths and opportunities that exist in this community. We've got more events happening next weekend as well. Quite a couple of really interesting cultural showcase events. We will actually be speaking with Alan Wong next week, the curator of the Fascination Film Festival next week, so we can hold off a conversation about that for the moment. But I'm wondering what you can tell us about the showcase at Taste of Asia taking place next weekend at Memorial Park and Boulevard.
Yes, the Asian and Canadian Showcase is going to be happening at Taste of Asia Festival, and it's organized by the Food Trip organization. So on our end, where there's going to be cultural performances and also contemporary Asian performers as well. So we have a bit of everything from all different Asian countries. So we have obviously cultural performances. I can't remember if we have a fashion show or not this year, but there might be one. We also have martial arts demonstrations. We have people playing musical instruments. We do have one comedian doing live outdoor comedy as well. And let's see, what else we have that night. Basically a bit of everything.
Yeah.
From all backgrounds. So 2 days of program from 2 o'clock to 7 p.m. And throughout the day, there's going to be a lot of food trucks from the Asian local business and also other food trucks as well. And there's going to be other cultural demonstrations from various Asian groups as well. And there's going to be a games booth so it's a bit of everything for everyone. It's a family-friendly event. And it looks like it's going to be the biggest one ever because we're taking over Memorial Park Street and
wow.
It's going to be lots of fun.
Yeah, it's really interesting to, as you talk about this, the balance that Asian Heritage Manitoba is striking between more contemporary approaches to celebrating different Asian cultures and different Asian humors, of course, but also these very sort of traditional cultural celebrations to show history and possibility, I suppose, at the same time.
Yeah, so a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah. So in addition to these cultural events, there's also events celebrating the resilience that you were talking about before of the AAPI community. What can you tell us about the conversation on resilience taking place on May 27th?
Yes, the event's going to be honoring resilience, uplifting stories with a conversation with Dr. Art Mickey. And it's this conversation or this event's going to be led by students from the Seven Oaks School Division, where they talk about Dr. Mickey's journey through through negotiations with the Canadian government about the Japanese internment camps and human rights projects that he's been involved with. And yeah, it's going to be a very educational event, and also it's going to be really what's the word called again? I think I can't remember the word, but it's going to be very very educational for sure.
We talked a bit there about the balance between things that are contemporary and things that are maybe a bit more historical. And this is a chance, it strikes me, as an opportunity to learn from our past mistakes and to listen to hear about the experiences of people who have gone through that trauma that you alluded to at the beginning of our conversation. And then how do we move forward? And how to process those things together as a community.
Definitely.
Okay. And there's also the closing ceremony taking place on June the 1st, I understand. More cultural celebrations I'm sure people can expect from that?
Well, it's going to be a dinner to conclude all of our events. We're still finalizing details with the venue, and there's going to be tickets to purchase for that. So we're excited to just have our board and our guests and come together and just reflect on how fun this month has been.
Absolutely. And I'm sure start planning next year's celebrations as well. You can find out more information on all of these events at asianheritagemanitoba.com. We will be linking to this later on today on our website, classic107.com, and on the Classic 107 app. Jie Yang, thank you so much for joining us in the Classic 107 studios. All the best for Comedy Night tomorrow and for the rest of the events in Asian Heritage Month.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for having me here this morning.